Right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It looks like we have a lot of people joining, so we'll give it a minute or two before we get started. So please give us just a little bit and then we'll get started with the main show. Looks like we have some good numbers coming in, so wait till that slows down. Another minute or so. Give it about another 30 seconds and then we will get started. Okay, it looks like we've got at least our initial wave of people coming in. Thank you for joining us today for Zixi ZEN Master and TAG for enhanced monitoring and unified control. I'm John Westcott from Zixi, and I'm happy to be joined by our speakers, Michael Dem, VP of Product Strategy from TAG, and R. Paul Shore, Director of Product Management for Zen Master. TAG has been natively integrated into the Zixi ZEN Master control plane for unified management and large-scale configuration of comprehensive multi-channel monitoring for hundreds of metrics and multi-viewing for primarily the media and entertainment industry. And today, Michael and Paul will detail the rich feature set and functionalities of each platform, how the integrated offering is a force multiplier for broadcast and OTT providers, and then provide a demonstration of how real world customers use the integration and benefits from the technologies. We will take questions at the end, so please put them into the QA tab and we will address them at the end. If we can't get to all of the questions due to time constraints, we have the email addresses associated with each question in the system, and so the appropriate person from Zixi and or TAG will follow up with you. And so with that long preface, Michael Dem, you want to get us started?
Yeah, thank you, John. Very, very excited to be here. And I want to talk about the integration between Zixi ZEN Master and TAG solution. And want to tell everybody about what we're doing together and how we are going to help customers to better visualize, probe, and monitor their video flows in different on-prem, cloud, or hybrid environments. So I know how many of you are familiar with TAG, so I'll just briefly introduce what TAG does and who we are. So TAG has been around the industry for more than 15 years now. And we're primarily focusing on software-based and IP workflow solutions. The products that we're building, helping our customers in the M&E industry, whether they're doing live production, playout, or content distribution. So all the different types of applications and workflows, we there, and our products are adapted and have a rich feature set for each one of those types of applications. And at TAG, we're all about giving the operators and the engineers a very clear insights into their video data. and we're doing it through in-depth analysis in addition to the real-time monitoring and probing. We're trying to simplify the very complex video workflows that our customers have to deal with, and helping them to manage those environments or ecosystems, whether they on-prem environments, cloud, and as we see a lot more those days, a combination of two, hybrid environments. So to summarize who TAG is, it's really about the TAG, we focused on quality and delivering a great viewer experience to the consumers. TAG is IP native, 100% software since day one. We don't do any hardware products, and we have deep experience and a lot of experience with different endless number of use cases in the IP video technologies. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as I said, TAG does a lot more than just multiviewing. We're doing probing, we're doing video analysis, and TAG's applications is really built on top of advanced video processing engine that supports a very wide range of formats and standards, and it can accommodate all kind of media workflows in a single product. Those formats are everything from uncompressed video streams, 2110, 22-6, low latency streaming such as NDI, WebRTC, JPEG XS, of course compressed MPEG-TS, ABR, and very important to this conversation, all the different technologies for advanced and secure and reliable products such as SRT and of course Zixi. And the full list of all the different codecs and protocols that we support is available on our website. You can see just a subset of those on this slide. But TAG not only processes the video, we're also doing deep probing for errors, alarm conditions, and we're sending those alarms through various interfaces for visualization of those sources and alarms in real time. We also collect a lot of data during this process. We analyze the video performance, and we can visualize using different tools. You can see some examples here, such as Grafana, Kibana, Splunk, Data Miner, and many others. And this insightful data really helping to optimize the operations and ensure the high quality of service and quality of experience for the end viewer or the consumer. And it's also important to know that TAG solution also produces video outputs, right? At the end of the day, we're doing multiviewing with the advanced monitoring. So if all of those different formats and protocols that we can consume as input, we can also output our multiviewer mosaics with. So what exactly TAG? Just to summarize, it's really a comprehensive video platform that combines the best-in-breed multi-viewing features through analysis of video quality and data analytics. Next slide, please. So now I want to talk about really what the value proposition of this integration with Zixi and why are we doing this? Why are we investing time and integrating between the two systems? As you all know, video distribution has changed drastically over the past 10, 15 years. We've seen it grow from simple, cable telco head-end to edge linear distribution to very advanced streaming technologies and direct-to-consumer technologies. For instance, video encoding now happens in a lot of different places. It can happen at the service provider head-end, can happen in a third-party company that provides services, or maybe a cloud environment. We also have seen a shift from using single CDN to multiple CDNs. Just last week, I was on a panel with the CDN Alliance, and we were discussing strategies around video quality and monitoring for multiple CDNs. And CDNs also adopting cloud-based platforms and services. So those things that I mentioned they make it more efficient and helping content and service providers with more flexibility and room to grow. And as the video distribution gets more complex, people in constant need for tools to keep an eye on things and really help them respond quickly and help them dig deeper into and better understand how the behavior of their video streams. So be able to react fast to changes in the network condition and things like that are very important to keep your users happy. And issues like buffering, freezing, macro blocks, they can all impact user experience. So video monitoring ensures that streams meet the expected quality of service and quality of experience standards by monitoring for things like compliance and video quality. And of course, no monitoring solution can be complete without proper analytics. I mentioned all the amount of data that we're collecting. So analytics is very important, and it enables better SLAs. It helps with visualizing performance and quality trends over time, and really allows better post-mortem analysis as well, and better planning for future. So an advanced monitoring system such as TAG, MCM, and MCS, those are the names of the two products that we offer. They not only provide real-time alerts, but also allow customization of reports and enable those analytics to be provided to the customers. There's tons of data that can be collected. It includes everything from just raw metadata, descriptive content information, incident details. It really enables the operators and the engineers that using TAG to use it in combination with various different technologies such as business intelligence tools, open source data analysis tools, and even AI ML. We have customers who are consuming data from TAG and then applying some ML algorithms on top to help them predict the behavior and predict how their networks and their video streaming will behave under certain loads. And yeah, next slide, please. So what really drives us at TAG is the innovation. I think innovation is really strategic and crucial to the broadcast industry in general. And TAG's approach, TAG's adaptable approach to those new formats, new codecs, new video technologies helps us ensure that your technology remains current and that you can always get the best return on investment for your investment in monitoring tools. Together with Zixi, we can provide very stable and adaptive broadcasting environment that helps deliver the highest quality broadcast across all kinds of network conditions. For example, one major challenge in the industry today is the growth of amount of content that operators have to keep their eyes on. Especially in OTT distribution, the complexity multiplies by number of different platforms that need to be supported, formats, protocols, codecs, encryption types, etc. There's lots of different aspects that can multiply the amount of content that we're dealing with. Global reach. A lot of our customers in the industry today are no longer just local companies. They have global companies in more than a single country. So global reach allows streaming to really reach wider audience, but all of those things that I mentioned come at a price of increased number of streams that have to be carried. It all exponentially increases the number of streams that have to be monitored by tens or even hundreds of times. And of course, all that comes at a higher cost. So TAG is offering a lot of different capabilities and features that help to reduce this complexity and help to keep your operational cost low. We offer features and functionality such as monitoring by exception, penalty boxes, adaptive monitoring. It's a technology that can adapt the monitoring depth of the tool according to the needs of the operator. And there is a lot more features and functionalities that helping businesses to focus really on their strategic goals and adjust the operating modes to really what's important to them at that point in time. And next slide, please. So TAG has a very simplistic approach to very complex IP workflows. And this, in combination with Zixi secure and efficient IP transport, it empowers the broadcasters to focus on their business growth and less on, hey, how am I going to ensure that my quality is good? Well, we can help you with that. It can really help you unlock some new revenue opportunities and help drive the business. What our customers and what we hear from our customers, what they're looking for is more practical, or I should say more applied monitoring approach, one that really tells you precisely what's happening and points you to your troubleshooting efforts in the right direction. Instead of you wasting time and trying to troubleshoot, the system should help you, and we're helping you. That's being in all the critical points, and now even inside the Zen Master, we can point out the right the things when they're happening in the right time. So we as an advanced monitoring solution, TAG can help cover all those critical aspects of video delivery through entire workflow, both geographically or network-wise. And it also involves monitoring for compliance, for quality assurance in every critical point. Real-time alert aspects of TAG is very crucial, has very crucial role in maintaining the quality of video streams. These alerts help operators to quickly identify and resolve problems before they escalate, really minimizing some of the downtime and potential revenue loss. Just think of the influence of downtime on a live sport game, how fast you need to react and solve issues when they're happening. And of course, the alarming that we can provide within the Zixi ZEN Master today is very actionable, which means the operator is alerted by the critical event that really require their immediate attention. All of the different video delivery networks, they generate large amount of data, so it's important to be able to filter out the non-critical events and help operators to focus on what is critical and what is important to avoid what we call alert fatigue. Because a lot of times you get too many alarms and you just became so overwhelmed and you just don't notice the important things, and that can help you with that. So with that, I just pass it over to Paul, and I will continue later with the live demonstration of TAG system.
Okay, thanks very much, Michael. I know there's quite a few existing TAG or Zixi and Zen Master customers or folks on the call, but just a quick high-level overview from our side of the Zixi software-defined video platform, just from the transport and processing layer and also the cloud orchestration layer. So the platform supports contribution, processing, and delivery of video streaming over any IP network, supports any protocol on the ingest and the delivery side, can work with any cloud provider. Again, similar to TAG, it's primarily a software install, so it can be installed locally in a data center or in any of the cloud providers. We also interoperate more deeply with some of the major cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and GCP. And we are also integrated into or can interoperate with any edge device. Zixi's been doing this for something like 15 years now, and has the most ubiquitous, reliable, most data-rich, and data-accurate protocol in the industry, and at this point enables the largest global ecosystem for delivering live video. We're installed in hundreds of thousands of instances globally, over 120 countries, well over 1,000 media customers at this point, over 400 technology partners, which encompasses encoders, IRDs, tools like TAG, and various other kind of devices that are used throughout the live video processing chain. Currently managing over 500,000 live sporting events annually. That's a number that's growing rapidly and expected to continue to do so. And while we're doing this, we are capturing well over 10 billion telemetry data points every single day of how video is being transported and how reliable it is, and what issues may or may not occur during that process. So here's a showcase of at least some of our customers. You can see you're in very good company when working with Zixi. This is definitely majority or even all of the world's largest media companies at this point that we work with. So what is it that the platform does? What are the components and features? Well, just some of them are highlighted here on this slide, but essentially there are many different ingest methods to get into the platform, whether it's Zixi software, Zixi Edge Compute, Zixi Feeder. We have the Zixi SDK, which is something that can be taken and embedded into different devices. So for example, mobile, iOS and Android, third-party encoders, and also things like cloud storage, object storage, CDN sources, that kind of thing. Supporting all the different protocols that you'd expect into the platform, whether it's our own protocol or things like RIST, RTP, RTMP, older protocols like RTMP, and even adaptive protocols like HLS, etc. There are different connection methods within the platform. So we support things like bonding over networks, hitless failover. It can be different kinds of networks, so you can have bonding over a regular internet connection and fiber, or an interconnect connection and Wi-Fi, and failover between them. Everything is secure DTLS encryption, AES encryption, access controls, etc. Telemetry across the video, but also obviously the network layer. Are packets being delivered? Are they being delivered on time? Are the contents of those packets what you'd expect to see? And is the quality of video itself, even when everything's been delivered correctly, is the encoder producing the video you expect it to produce? At the processing level, we do things like live transcoding with GPU acceleration. Normalization is a big feature within the customer base, taking different feeds, a multitude of different feeds that might be of different formats, and bringing them in and normalizing them to an internal mezzanine processing format. Things like PID mapping, different audio processing. Muxing and demuxing is built into the platform. So taking a muxed feed and splitting it out into various different components for downstream processing, or on the delivery side, taking streams and multiplexing into a final result. Workflow, things like content switching, time shift, local record. We also have a live event module now where you can schedule OU and live events in the future, different stages based around those events. So setup mode, pre-game, live, post-game workflows, and all the different changes and alerts and notifications that you might expect at different parts of those stages. And then finally, all the egress protocols where we can deliver to whatever it is that needs to be delivered to. Above all that, obviously, sits the Zen Master orchestration layer. So what is Zen Master? Zen Master is a single pane of glass in the cloud that provides central visibility, global operation and control, and reliability and scalability. So what does this mean? It means an operator can sit in front of Zen Master in a single logon and monitor the entire deployment, the systems within the deployment, the networks that connect those systems, and the workflows that run across them. It gives you real-time alerting and monitoring, tools to react to issues, tools to make changes and deploy and provision these workflows, all from that single logon. And then finally, it's designed to do this at scale. So our customers often start off with one or a handful of workflows, maybe running a single live event, and growing that up to systems that can manage thousands of streams in real time, hundreds of broadcasters throughout the deployment, and monitoring it with an existing team of engineers or operators. So the TAG integration allows us to enhance this experience, bringing both the Zen Master and Zixi networking data to the operator, as well as the multi-view experience and the analytics of the TAG setup. Again, we support different inputs of TAG, the various different formats. We can select whatever the TAG configuration multiviewer is and bring feeds from Zen Master directly into that tag and the multiviewer back to deliver anywhere in the world. Finally, I've got a workflow example here that's just going to show how we might interact. Obviously, different use cases, you could use TAG and Zixi together. But here I've just got an origin network, a couple of different feeds, bringing them to a cloud broadcaster and handing them to a TAG. It's going to build a multi-view, and then those feeds are going to be delivered to where they need to be. But at the same time, the result from the TAG multiviewer is going to come back to either a NOC or remote operators to have both the TAG and Zen Master experience. Okay. So from there, I'm going to hand back to Michael. He's going to show you the TAG, and then I'm going to show you the two working together.
And as Michael's getting started, a reminder to put any questions in the Q&A tab at the bottom, and we will get to them after the demonstrations. Michael, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was trying to speak and well, muted. Can you see my screen?
We can.
All right, so let's dive into this. So what I have here is the MCM 9000. That's the product that we have integrated into Zen Master. It has its own user interface, which, unless you want to customize how the mosaic is going to look like, how this output is going to be, how many pips or tiles it's going to include and things like that, you don't really have to interact with it. If you're only going to do it through the Zen Master, there's a lot of configuration of adding the sources and generating the output mosaics, and is being taken care of by the Zen Master. And Paul will demonstrate how that is done. So what you can see here is just an example of what we have going, a number of 16 different streams in a single mosaic. If you do want to customize how your tag output is going to look like, then you can log in into our user interface and basically start creating your own custom tiles and custom layouts. We call the mosaic is called the layout in the tag terminology. I'll quickly just go through some of the other functionality here that we have in case you want to operate directly with the tag. What you would have to do is just go and add manually all your sources. And you can do that by just going to this channel configuration screen, click on Add Channel button, choose the type of source that you want to ingest, and then fill up all the information about that source. There's a lot of information that is mandatory, a lot of information that is optional. For example, you have to provide an IP address, but encryption key, for instance, may be optional, things like that. Once you're done, you'll have a source ready to go, and you can start monitoring it. Of course, this you don't have to do with Zen Master. That is all done through our advanced API, which Zixi integrated with. The next important thing that you will probably want to do is define threshold sets. Threshold sets basically tell the MCM what to watch for, what kind of alarming conditions to alarm on. We have a very comprehensive list of different alarming conditions. I believe today we have something like over 520 different alarms, and it's always changing. We're always adding new alarms. For example, we just recently added support for or finalizing support for HDR metadata, so that will add a long list of other metadata related thresholds. We added technology such as content matching that can measure precise latency and even audio video drifting and lip sync issues, and it comes with its own set of different thresholds. So those thresholds, it's everything from a simple TR1 to 90 transport related things all the way to deep video analysis such as basic black frame and freeze frame detection, but also things like macro blocking, etc. And there's a lot of compliance match or no match detectors as well built into this. So you can go over all the different alarms, video, audio, MPEG tables, subtitles, closed captions, OTT related thresholds, and you can start modifying them to what you need. If there's a certain threshold you're interested in, you can just select the severity of it, or if you're not interested in it, you can disable. Some of the thresholds come with some thresholds pre-configured, and those thresholds can be customizable to whatever threshold you like it to be. Once you have your threshold set configured, you just assign it to your sources and the monitoring begins. So the last thing you need to do is create your outputs, basically the mosaics, how you want them to look like in this example I showed earlier, 4x4, but you may want to decide that you want a different mosaic to be used. You may want to decide I want to have a mosaic with 16 channels or 20 channels on it, or maybe even 40 channels, or maybe I just need just 2x2. That up to your specific needs. And the customization goes all the way to the individual tile, how the tile looks like. And we have a built-in tile editor where you can edit pre-existing set of tiles, very rich set of tiles, or you can create your own. Just give it a name. What type of tile that is? Is it a video channel? Maybe it's a graphics, maybe it's a text box. Let's create a new one. So here I have a new tile with a video on it. And I may want to add an audio bar outside of my video space. And I may want to add, let's say, some captions here. And by the way, we support up to 32 different captions on a single tile. So you can visualize all of your different languages, if you distribute to multiple countries, etc. Of course, 607, 708, 608, and also DVB subtitles, everything is supported. So I just give an example here. There's a lot of different informational icons about the video itself. that can be put on the tile. So I'll just go and save it. And now if I want to create my own custom layout of video tiles, I'll just go in here, click on the plus button, create a new layout. I get an empty one, and I can start adding my tiles into the layout and in any order or way I want them to be on the screen. Things like digital clocks and timers. Of course, they can all be controlled through API, through TSL tally. We have full support for TSL version 5, so they can be started and stopped and modified through that. Here's the demo tile I just created, so I can add here, etc. Of course, we can put them in some order, or we can do whatever we want, even non-standard video resolutions or aspect ratios supported. Sometimes you want to see path A versus path B, so we have support, if we can find it here, for split tiles, where you can put left and right from different sources. For example, on the left side, I will put my path A, and on the right side, I'll put my path B video on it. And I expect them to be in full sync, so no difference in latency between the two. So when I look at this tile, after that, in the output mosaic, I expect the two videos to be in full synchronization. Of course, if they're not, you'll be notified about that. So now that I created my layout, I can start adding. Where is it? Oh, I need to create a new one here. Demo. Use that template. Here's the template I created. So now I can go and start associating the sources with the tiles. Just drag and drop them. Again, this is all can be done through API, and this is how Zen Master does it, through the API integration with TAG. Okay, so I saved my layout, and the only other thing I have to do is create an actual output, which is basically the encoding process of taking that layout and generating the mosaic on the output. I can go here, select my demo layout that I just created, submit, and we have a new output ready to go. We'll take a few seconds for it to start playing, and we will see this new mosaic that I just created with the custom tile on it start displaying video. There we go. Let's try to zoom in a little bit so we can see. So I don't know if you noticed, but those two tiles, actually two separate ones. I put the left and the right side, but because I use the same video on both, so it's in full sync. And you can see the both primary and backup streams in full sync playing as a single video. So I'm going to stop here, stop this output, and then pass it over back to Paul for the demonstration of the Zen Master side of this.
Okay, take my mute off. Back to sharing. There you go. Okay, so I'm logged into Zen Master here. So just very quickly then, conscious of the time. So so we talked earlier about, this global deployment and all the different source types and entry points into the platform. So we'll start off with sources. Zen Master can be configured with, as I say, very scalable, thousands of sources. You can see I've got a lot here in my demo environment. And we can see details about them when I'm looking at the big table, but I can just definitely look at some specific sources. So for example, let's take one of these guys, and we can see, I can see a lot more detail about its configuration. I can see where it's coming from, where it's going to. I'm getting thumbnails updated, not a real-time playback. but I'm able to see that the video is basically, it's looking good. I can dig into things like the transport stream table and look at details and metadata, like, height, resolution, width, frame rate, these kind of things, and different audio PIDs, make sure that they're the codecs I expect and the formats I expect, and that kind of thing. I can look at the deployment itself to see what it is and where it's going to. Obviously, it's coming into one of our media engines, the server that is called the Zixi Broadcaster, which is really the workhorse of the Zixi platform. And again, I can have hundreds of these broadcasters deployed throughout my network. They could be deployed locally on a production network. They could be in data centers. They might be in various different clouds. They might be installed in redundant deployments, even across redundant clouds. So you could have pathways, you taking advantage of AWS and Azure as a mirrored XY deployment, that kind of thing. We can monitor the system itself. I can look at the broadcaster within the cluster, see system metrics, things like CPU, RAM, disk, GPU usage, those kinds of things, for example. And all these metrics is stored historically. So if there's a CPU was to go over a configured threshold, you would be alerted to that both in the screen and things like email or other alerting methods. But we have tools to react to something like that, and we also have the history itself. So we can use this to look at how things are performing compared to the norm. We can use this to look back in time and do things like root cause analysis, see its network connectivity and its performance over time. This data is stored indefinitely, so we can use it for things like as runs over the last 3 months. We can make sure that we are meeting our SLAs over the course of a period of time and run reports on all that kind of data too. We can configure dashboards within Zen Master at the thumbnail updating level. So if I was to look at all my sources, I can look at just straight up data. I can configure things like penalty boxes, for example, or I can configure things like thumbnails. And you might expect your operators to have something like this up on the wall, but you can see the thumbnails are updating slowly over the course of time. But interesting enough, these thumbnails are coming from anywhere in the world. So one of these thumbnails could be coming from, Australia, Singapore, EMEA, East, West Coast of the US, whatever, and I can see it all in one single dashboard. But what I want to do here is I want to take some of these sources and I want to deliver them into the tag using one of those profiles and mosaics that Michael just configured. So to do that, very simple step. First thing I'm going to need to do is to connect to a multiviewer. So I want to effectively attach the multiviewer to Zen Master, and all it's required to do that is to add a new multiviewer. I've only got one multiviewer in our demo environment, but you can have as many as you have in your environment. So, you could have 10, 20, 30, whatever it is that you have already. You can take Zen Master today and connect it directly to those existing multiviewers. Just as simple as telling Zen Master what is the IP address or the host name of the tag and giving it access credentials. There's some other things. All objects within Zen Master have our own tagging system. Obviously, confusing a little with a name, but you can create tags within Zen Master and tag objects, which allows you to track and search and find things very quickly and that kind of thing, or just to organize objects within Zen Master. So I can create tags, apply it to this. I've got a multi-view tag against it. And I give it a name. So in my system, it has its own name. Once I've done that, hit the save button, and Zen Master is now connected and aware of a tag multi-viewing engine. Then in the sources page, I can see all the different available sources to me, and I want to take, maybe I'm doing a 2x2 grid or a 4x4 grid, and I want to take 4 or 16 of these sources and send them to the tag. So what I'm going to do, obviously, we've got one built prior to the call. So I'll just show you how you add or edit. When you create one of these, this is the screen you get. And here I can choose the multi-viewer. I've only got one in my system, but had I 20 different multi-viewers in my system, I would pick which one I would like to process this mosaic. Once I've done that, we can see a list of the available mosaics that have been configured there, which Michael just walked you through. Here I've chosen a 16 channel, which is just a straight up 4x4 matrix mosaic. I can then search through the entire library of available sources within Zen Master. And again, these could be anywhere in the world. So they could be feeds that are coming into a broadcaster in EMEA, in an AWS cloud. They could be coming into an Azure broadcaster in the US East. They could be all in the same location, or they could be spread out over a very, very diverse region. And I can basically drag and drop or add them to my mosaic. And I can drag and drop things between my mosaic, lay it out. This is obviously Zen Master is making an API call into the tag that we chose. You've chosen the particular layout, and now Zen is giving you the option to pick sources for that layout. So for example, if I was to choose the 4x4 layout, then I only have 4 options to drag feeds to. You don't actually have to fill that up. I could add 3 sources to this. Tag is smart enough to generate a matrix or a mosaic and fill the blank space if you didn't fill it up. Come back out of here. But now you can see what I've done is created what we call a multi-view source within Zen Master. And as back to my earlier diagram, the broadcaster is basically handing all of these feeds over to the tag. The tag's producing the multi-viewer based on the configuration that was chosen, and that result is coming back to the broadcaster and is now available as a source within Zen Master. So the operator can sit here and see an updating thumbnail of it because it just exists like any other source within Zen Master. Has the full path table of all the different streams within that result, and is available to then distribute anywhere else in the world. So I could have operators in different locations. I could have different NOCs, or even me sat at home, for example. I can then pull down that feed and look at it like a real-time multi-view. I'm not entirely sure how this will look over the Zoom, but here I am seeing full real-time tiles within my mosaic, and I'm getting all the analytics of the tag laid over the top of it, so my audio levels, and if there was an issue with any of these source feeds, my mosaic is going to behave accordingly, and it'll draw my attention with a red box or whatever it needs to be. Okay. So then finally, that, like I said, is available as a regular source within Zixi. So you can take that down. I'm playing it through VLC on my machine locally, but I could be feeding it to an IRD and pushing it to a screen on the wall in my NOC or my operations center or whatever it needs to be. I think that really covers everything on the interoperation and the integration side. John?
We have a fair amount of questions. So let's get started with them. First is, if I send a stream to Tag from Zen Master, will there be a cost associated with it? Which parallels with another question that we got, which are, what are the billing models for Zixi ZEN Master and the integrated tag? Zixi is primarily, our billing model is a microcharge per gigabyte delivered, and we aggregate that, and it's a usage model following the sort of the cloud model. There is no incremental charge to use TAG with Zen Master. You need a Zen Master subscription and a TAG license. And the TAG licensing, Michael, you want to talk a little bit about your billing model?
Yeah, absolutely. So the TAG has actually a very interesting licensing model. We call it the zero friction. You probably noticed that on some of the slides I was showing you earlier. So the zero friction basically allows users to purchase a single license per source, and that license can be used for any type of stream inside TAG. It can be repurposed from any of the streams you're using today to any other stream you want to use in the future. It comes with all the functionality of the TAG included. We don't charge extra for any of the features inside TAG. So it's a single license per source coming into the MCM. And it can be used anywhere within the TAG environment.
Fantastic.
Very simple approach. You want to monitor 16 streams, you need the 16 licenses, and pretty much that it.
We've got a couple of questions about will this presentation be recorded and be shared for future review. It will be sent out to all of our attendees after maybe tomorrow or so. We have a couple of technical questions. How can I interact with Mosaic? If I want to make a UMD full screen, can I do that? Can I listen to the audio of each of the individual UMDs in the Mosaic? Maybe Michael for that one?
Yes. So the integration is really about picking up the streams from the Zen Master and setting them on the Mosaic. Once you have the Mosaic, you will operate with it just any other way you would operate with the TAG Mosaic. Yes, you can control the UMDs, you can change the UMDs, you can change the tallies. This doesn't change from the regular operational mode you would have with TAG on a daily basis. So if you have any of our other API integration to control the UMDs or enable audio outputs on the Mosaic, it stays the same. You can do that. We soon going to be releasing a new application called Operator Interface, which is basically a tablet or touchscreen oriented interface for TAG, which allows you a very simple and intuitive way to interact with the Mosaic in real time.
Paul, what is the expected latency between ingest and multi-viewer playouts?
So latency is something that's entirely configurable within the Zixi platform. And obviously, if you are using a local network, it can be incredibly low, right? The robustness of the Zixi protocol itself kicks in at tens of milliseconds, 20 milliseconds or whatever it is. If you are remote and running feeds from various locations to a multi-viewer, and some of those networks are great and some of them are really poor, you could potentially have you could configure different latencies on different networks, but you will be able to get video out of them using the protocol. So it really is dependent on the environment and the situation. I think that's probably.
Okay. And then Paul, and a follow-up, are there any StatMux capabilities?
Zixi platform and Zen Master Sports as well has multiplexer, but it's not like a full StatMux. We definitely can take multiple feeds, mux them into an outgoing multiplexed piece of video, and we can add additional headroom over it as well. So you can take 65, 70 aggregate megabits of video, mux them, and output an 80 meg feed. But we are not dynamically adjusting the individual bit rates of different feeds to produce a full stat mux. But we can, of course, interoperate with stat muxes.
If the link from Zen Master to TAG goes down, then I will be seeing false alarms on TAG, but the stream from Zen Master to the destination will not be affected. How do you solve this issue?
On the initial integration, we're just simply doing a connection to the tag. In a next iteration, we'll definitely have some monitoring or a response capability within Zen Master, so that you'll have, for example, an alert if something went wrong and the tag either had an issue itself or it disappeared because of a network connectivity issue. Zen Master is going to produce like a health check fail and let the user know from the Zen side that there's been an issue with the tag. But obviously the tag and its multi-view in and output is not actually in the data path. So the Zen would be Zen is producing the source of truth, I guess, to actual feeds themselves. So today, if you had an issue with the tag feed and there wasn't an issue on the Zen Master side, the Zen Master side would be the source of truth. We'd hope to get more login around that in the future. One great thing about Zen Master, I was able to click on my VLC play button and see the output of the multi-view source, but I have access to all the inputs to the multi-viewer. So from within Zen, I can go and click directly on one of these sources, get to that, and go and check the individual source itself. So I can hit my VLC play button right here and see that the individual component going into the tag is behaving correctly. And we get all our notifications around that as well.
A couple of questions for Michael. How many max tiles can we have in a single mosaic?
Ooh, as many as you want. I think we have a limit of like 100. We've definitely created a mosaic with 100 at the trade shows, but then they just look very small. So I'm not sure I want to put 100 on a single output. But we have customers using it with 20, 40, 50 tiles, and as small as you want them, or as many as you want them on a single output.
I think to that point, I think there is a 25 tile max today between Zen Master and the tag. I don't know if that's an artificial limit on which side. I don't have an answer for that. But you can obviously create as many mosaics as you want. So you could create a mosaic with 25 tiles in it, do that 4 times, and take those and create another mosaic with them. So you could easily set up 100 mosaic tile if you want, but like you said, they would all be very, very small.
Yeah.
We've got time for 1 or 2 more questions. Thanks everybody for your thoughtful questions. Can you make, Michael, can you make compliance recordings on TAG to validate video output from a specific monitoring point?
Absolutely. I don't know if you noticed when I was showing the thresholds configuration screen, there was an option to enable recording on any of those thresholds. So when something is being detected as outside of the normal or past the threshold, a recording can be done, and then for offline analysis can be used.
And let's finish up with a question for Paul. Can TAG pull multiple sources from multiple Zixi broadcasters across the world into the same multi-viewer, or do all sources need to be in the same broadcaster?
Yeah, absolutely no requirement for them to be in the same location. They can be in entirely different geos and regions. Absolutely.
We are at the full hour, and I'd like to thank everybody for attending, for the great questions that we got. We did not have time to answer all of them, but we have your email addresses associated with them, and we'll follow up. and we will be sending the recording along with this. So thank you, Michael. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for everybody for joining. It was a great session. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, and thanks everybody for great questions.
Thanks all.